Hello. Welcome along to episode 256 of Adventures in Pop. My name is Simon Jacobs, and you are ever so welcome. Um, we've got a few things to cover in this episode. I want to talk about Olivia Dean again, just very briefly. I want to talk about a songwriting contest that I've entered, which has been, so far it's quite interesting. And most of all, I want to preview for you a Goldhawk Foxes track that will be the single that comes out with the album at the end of next week, which is very exciting. We're on the verge, on the cusp of a Goldhawk Foxes second album. And I've got a very special version of that track, which is basically Foxes Unplugged. It's a live at home, CJ and myself, very rare footage, and we're going to come on to that in a moment or two. So, should we start with Olivia Dean? We've talked about her incessantly in the last few episodes, and I just want to keep it fairly brief, but just to confirm with you, in case you were not aware, that her album went straight into the album charts in the UK at number one, which I think I'm not surprised at, actually. It's a pretty damn good feat that she's managed to do it. But I wasn't surprised because I think everything was pointing in that direction. You know, a lot of people probably waiting for that second album, and therefore, there's going to be a bit of a big push when it comes to the actual release date. But not only is her album number one, I think the thing that's most interesting is that her single, which was number two for weeks and weeks and weeks, Man I Need, is also number one in the singles chart. So she's achieved that really quite rare feat, particularly amongst female artists, of getting a simultaneous number one album and number one single in this country. And I know that, these album and singles are climbing the charts elsewhere pretty fast. So well done, Olivia Dean. As I say, I'm not that surprised. Maybe the single was a bit more of a surprise because it had already spent lots of energy sitting there at number two. Finally, it's number one. And as I say, number one album. I've got to say good timing, though, because if she'd left it a week later, she would have been up against the new Taylor Swift album, and she would have lost that contest because I think Taylor Swift will be the number one album this week, and apparently, despite everything that a certain American president has said, she's doing very well and breaking all records. So, on the back of her huge Eras tour, not surprising that her next album, whatever it is, even if she'd just done an album of Taylor sings nursery rhymes, it would have been a colossal hit. Okay, onwards. A couple of months ago, I entered, as I quite often do, I entered a United Kingdom song contest called the United Kingdom Songwriting Contest. Now, look, there are quite a few of these contests going around, and the thing that I find most difficult is trying to remember which one's which, because they have things, they call things like the International Song Awards, the International Songwriting Competition, the UK this, the American that. So I've got a very careful list. Another one of my Word documents, on account of not being great at Excel and spreadsheets. I've got a Word document where basically I just record down there every time I send anything to any competition, with a column on the right where it says, consequences, and mostly I just write. On this occasion, for the UK songwriting contest, I entered 4 songs. Let me see. One of them was Magic by Goldhawk Foxes, which is already out. But the other 3 are not released yet. There's a song called Stone by Stone, a song called Olympic Runner, and one other that is already out, In My Suburban Street, from the last album, Municipal Dance. So those are the 4: My Suburban Street, Olympic Runner, Stone by Stone, and Magic by Goldhawk Foxes. So I got the results today. 3 of them got highly commended 5 stars, which is basically the sort of highest accolade it can reach without continuing into the competition, into the semi-finals. So 3 of them got that, and then one of them, which was Stone by Stone, Blow Me Down, Stone by Stone, that has got through and is now a semi-finalist. It's a semi-finalist in the category adult-oriented rock, which is a category I hardly know what I'm doing in. So it'll be quite interesting. And I'm very happy to see that one of them's got through. Obviously very upset about the other 3, but I'll keep you posted as to, where that one goes. Quite interesting. Okay, so enough slapping myself on the back and saying well done. The rest of this episode I want to dedicate to the Goldhawk Foxes on the event of our second album coming out at the end of next week. The album, as you know already, is called Do Not Feed the Foxes. And on the day it gets released at the end of next week, it will be released with a couple of tracks that you won't have heard, one of which will be the single. And the single is called Love of My Life. And, in the next few days, certainly by start of next week, there'll be a video for it, and you'll get the full kind of studio version in your ears, presumably in the few days before the album drops. But what I've got today is a live performance that we recorded a few months back, CJ and myself, at the piano at home, and I am going to leave you today with the acoustic and unplugged version of Love of My Life by Goldhawk Foxes. Song that, like so many Goldhawk Foxes, we both had a part in writing and spent lots of time, sorting out the arrangement, etc., etc., etc. So very much a joint effort. Have a lovely few days. I'll be back soon. In fact, there is a second Goldhawk Foxes Unplugged song that will be along in a few days' time. But this one is called Love of My Life. You take care. Bye-bye.
I put it all into you, a special type of fool. You had the chatter and patter, and you could play the part right from the start. And you had so many opinions, always in your feelings, lifting a dominion, gaslit to the ceiling, the perfect smile and explanation for every conversation. But you know me, and I know you, and I know how you do what you do. So long, say goodbye, love of my life, broken heart again.